you don't get the show.
Because in our next story, YouTube star dumps quote world sexiest weather girl so they can spend more time playing Call of Duty.
All right.
Oh my god, I just think that's great because you know what? Before you go to story, because basically it's this guy. His name is Phase Sensor. That's his online name, and he has a channel where he's getting money, he's getting views to play Call of Duty and these other games, and it's like he like needed like a break, a time away from his girlfriend so he could play, and it's like it's funny because you have all these people like attacking, but at the same time it's like I could definitely see where someone gets into a relationship after. You know how they always say like you always want the girl until you have her. You always want something else until you got it, and then all of a sudden it's just the same boring old thing. That I get the feeling that's what happens with a lot of these people, where it's like, if only I had a girl, I'd go out and climb mountains, I'd be active, and it's like, yeah, maybe for the first couple of weeks, and then you're back to playing video games, and she's standing there looking at you like, what the fuck?
Like the thing that was like that's funny about the whole like thing of this is, like you said, is he sat there and dated her. And it's almost like those, like to me, when you sit there and you see like some like Hollywood person that they, this like power couple or whatever, and you're like, oh, so and so and so and so is dating and this and that. And then it's like, you find out like years after, it's like, oh, he cheated on her. And it's like, I know friends of mine, they're like, why? Like, you've already hit the top of the mountain. What did you think you were going to get by going to this other person? And it's like funny because it's like you look at it and you're like, shit, like looking at this whole story of like the whole thing of like she decided to go back to Mexico City because she wanted to focus on like her modeling and this and that, which is cool because it's like, hey, this is what she wanted to do with her career and all that. And it's funny because you have to look at it like, I've been married now, like going on 10 years. This year's our 10-year anniversary. And the thing about it is any relationship that you go to, no matter what it is, you have to have some sort of compromise with one another. And you have to be there to support one another. So that's one of those things where if she said to him, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to focus on my modeling career. I want to focus on my acting career. I want to keep going forward. He had the choice of saying, okay, I support you and all that. How can I help you to get there? Or he can do like, well, cool, that's your own thing. And this was what, the result was. He ends up breaking up with her and blah, 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 because he's like, screw that. I'm going to focus on me. She wants to focus on her. I can sit there and tell you, if this is the end result of that, no matter how long they would have been together, their relationship was doomed from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay? Because, like, if you sit there and you look at it, like my wife and I, when she got accepted into school in Massachusetts, and she turned to me and said, what are we going to do? Am I going to go and you stay here and this and that? I said, we're going. And she was just like, what? You're going to come with me? I'm like, yeah, we're married. We're going. Like, I support you. And she, and then you always get into those situations where it's like, what are we going to do for money? What are we going to do for housing? What are we going to do for this and that? And that's the type of thing where you're like, you know what? We'll figure it out when we get there. Like, we go. I mean, and it all worked out. And it's the type of thing where that's how couples need to be for one another. Oh, you're having a hard time, this and that, boop, And it was one of the things that was amazing about us as well is when we first moved up here, like I worked at one point, I think three part-time jobs at the same time. And then I ended up getting into one more like full-time, but I hated it. And she felt so bad. She was like, you know what? I'll get a part-time job and cut down on school and this and that, and we'll figure it out. I said, no, you stay focused on school. Don't worry about me. It'll all work out in the end. And that's the thing where I realized, like, hey, we're going through a rough spot now, but in the end goal that we're going to get to, it'll all work out. And that's the type of thing where, like, this type of a situation with this guy and all that is, I really feel that no matter what, this was going to be the end result. And he hit the peak of what he was going to get as far as like good looking and this and that type of a woman. And that's what you could see in the forefront, but you don't really know what was going on in the back front. And just the fact that he was like, hey, she wanted to do this, I wanted to focus on this, and we split ways, it wasn't going to work out. Regardless.
Yeah, and that's interesting because that is one of those things that if you either don't have someone or you haven't had someone a long time or whatever, it might be hard to see. Like, I mean, you see the pictures that we have up on the screen,
Yeah.
and of course she looks great, but it's still your core, you know. And sometimes people will be so desperate to look for someone that they just think if they can get anyone, it works. But when you know at your core that you play games, that you're more of an introvert, that you're this and that, sure, you can meet someone, they can inspire you, they can change you, they can bring things out in you that you haven't seen before, and that's good. But a lot of times you go back to your core, and
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily mean that's bad. I mean, honestly, if you're the kind of person that likes to play video games, watch YouTube, you know, do these things, and you meet someone else that's like that, there's nothing wrong with that. Just as if you meet someone who wants to climb mountains, go bike, you know, do all
Yeah.
this stuff, go to the club, that's fine. But what happens is that if you actually want to have a meaningful relationship, either both of you have to really be able to compromise. And if you're
Mhm.
so opposite, that's hard. Because like if someone's super active and they need to be doing something every 5 minutes and they're always looking for that next thrill, and then you're like, well, I'm gonna sit down here and watch, you know, the whole series of Battlestar Galactica. Do you want to join me? She's gonna die. She's gonna be like, what? No. Maybe I'll watch an episode and then can we go biking? And then you're gonna be like, oh my god, I want to go biking. That's not gonna work. And that's why it's funny because I did see this thing a long time ago. They were talking about celebrities and they were saying that a lot of celebrities, the reason why they date other celebrities is because of ego. It's sometimes just because of they understand the lifestyle. So it's like if you know that you're going to be on these sets for 10, 12 hours a day, maybe someone else won't understand. Like,
Uh-oh.
oh yeah, I saw the hiccup.
Yeah. I was
To
like,
them,
oh.
they're going to be like, oh, why are you on this set? Or why do you have to go to the premiere? Or why do you have to do all this stuff? Even though these people may not be to that level, you can't discount that they both do kind of have their own levels of celebrity. Like you can talk about being a YouTube or Twitch streamer all you want, but this guy is making money. He has viewers, so he has his own thing. That takes time. Like I know it seems like whenever you see someone do a video that oh we just sit down and just do it. And in some cases it's a little like that, but you still plan things out. And the more you do with your stream, the more you put into it, the more times it takes, no matter how someone tries to downplay it. And on her end, it's the same thing. Like you said, she's a model, aspiring actress, weather girl. So she has to do all these things just to stay, especially for a woman, just to stay on an upward trajectory. And if those two worlds can't merge, like you said, if you can't support each other and it's actually conflicting, it's better to just walk away, even if people will laugh and say, "Oh my God, she's so beautiful. Why'd you leave it?" It would have, like you said, it would have never worked.
Well, like here's the other thing about it. Like looking through like the story and all that. Like if you look towards the end and all that of what she tweeted out, and one of the last things that she tweeted out was like, "Never listen to the advice of a person who has not done anything good with his life." Now, here's the thing. The thing that gets me is you look through the story. He met her in Mexico City. They moved in together in New York and lived together for a year, and then she moved back. And he was like, "Oh, hey, da da da." I was sitting there playing, like, I want to do this. I want to do the championship now. Not for nothing type of a thing, but you could technically play Call of Duty from anywhere. So he could have sat there if it was going to work out and be like, cool, so that we're not separate. I'll go move in with you down in Mexico City.
Right.
Because I'm pretty damn sure she's making enough money that she's living in a spot where she's probably going to have way better internet and all that shit and all that. Because let's face facts, and any type of country like that, you're going to have the like top tier, middle tier, upper class, middle class, lower class. I'm pretty damn sure she's not living in no lower class housing and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like if she's working for a network and all that, and just doing the thing, which I had to give her because I cracked up at, and I'm pretty sure like seeing her, she looks familiar, and I'm pretty sure she was the one in the video. But it was like one of those videos on like E-Bomb's World where there was like, man, these Hispanic news stations know how to cast like weather girls, or like they haven't got what's going on, and it was like a video I believe of like her giving the weather and all that. So it's hilarious because that's what I chuckled at it, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of funny. but that's like the type of thing, like I said, it's like she said, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do what's best for me. You can either support me or not. And in reality, like he could sit there and say, like, cool, you know what? This is I support you, blah blah blah. Let's move to Mexico. No, like unless he has something that they with whoever he's playing that they say, no, you need to be in New York City. I'm pretty doubtful, you know, because even if you look at like all these like professional teams that get put together that they're like, oh, like they have that house that they used to play in, like they usually are like in Los Angeles or something like that. So he could have, even if he would have gone to Los Angeles, which is like right there to Mexico, he could have gone to see her more often.
I think like most times there's two sides to a story. This is a really good you don't get to show story because for people who don't get gaming, it also will seem extremely foreign. But at the same time, people in gaming will be the
Yeah.
first to call this guy an idiot. And it's funny, like what you said with her saying, like people who haven't done anything with their lives. Think about it. That's kind of like the mantra of someone who's always saying anything about anyone who is in gaming. And the thing is yes, you could look at this guy and say, "Oh, what's a Call of Duty championship? What do you get? A little bit of money and like 10 seconds of fame, and then you're nothing." It's like, okay, but as we've seen, you have people like Ninja and stuff. Maybe you'll never get to that level. But
Shroud
you
is a
have
good
people that are
example.
even way lower than him. Like I said when I compared it to the PGA Tour, you don't have to be top 10, top 20 to make money.
Yeah.
There's people that make $3,000, $4,000 a month through Patreon and through subs and through things like that, and they're like bottom hundreds,
Oh
of
yeah.
the world. You
I
don't
mean,
have to be the top. So this guy could be making his move, and this is his way to make money forever. He gets this
right.
championship, he gets more subs, he gets more viewers, he gets more notoriety, just like as she does more acting jobs, more modeling jobs, she'll get. So it's not, look, we don't know the behind the scenes, and maybe there's like underlying stuff, and what we see on the surface is just the most easiest way to split the sides. So she has
Mm-hmm.
people on her side saying, yes, you're right, go girl, and then he'll have guys on his side saying, yeah, you're right, dump her. But honestly, it's like I don't think either side necessarily is a loser. It's just
Right.
one modeling, acting that is accepted, where gaming is still on its way up.
Yeah.
So
It's
she's
so.
always gonna win.
Oh no, yeah. Like I use a good example is look at the what's his name Shroud, who is a professional CS:GO player, retired, and now just streams on Twitch and basically pulled all the fans from that into live streaming. That's how he makes his money. I mean, look at Ninja. He makes a crap ton of money. Like there's reports of that dude making $500,000 a month.
Yeah.
Like that's insane, you know? And like it's yeah, if you can sit there and take off something like that, and if you're that good, like yeah, you'll get the views. And it's just it's crazy. Like I said, it's to me this is more of it was doomed to fail if he was not willing to do the compromise. Like like I said, if you don't support it, it doesn't matter if it was her or if it was a no, like a regular person or a person that no one's ever heard of. Like it's not gonna work if you're not there to, like I said, you're not there to compromise with one another and to support one another. That's it. That's what it boils down to. Like he could have been, like I said, she could sit there and go out with like one of us, and it's like, I'm not gonna support you. That's it. Relationship's over, no matter what.
Yeah.
You
And if
know?
you think about it, both worlds are difficult
Yeah.
because if you like gaming at all, you know it's going to take some time. And
Yeah.
usually what happens is you replace that with what other people would do in TV. Because it's like, let's forget this idea, especially like we said, when we see Netflix numbers, subscribers, how long they watch it. It's not like if you're not a gamer, you're out there curing cancer and doing all this thing. No, we see that most of the public, if they're not playing video games, they're watching TV, watching Netflix, watching movies, on social media. So there's just being as so-called unproductive as we are. But if you look at the two worlds, gaming, especially if you're trying to go to the top level in championships and then be a streamer, and then acting, modeling, both those separately take up time. And true, it's like Randy said, you could probably go somewhere and play video games, but so much of the time you're going to be a part. And then that's where it comes down to, you got to ask your question. Do you want to be a part? Because when you're on a set, you can't have people around there playing video games on a set. And if you're really trying to practice to win a championship, you don't want to be in an environment where it's not comfortable, you don't have your setup, you're not ready. So it's just one of those things where, yeah, it probably doesn't work, but this makes for a good story for, that debate between gamer and not, especially when you have Alea looks really good and things like that. So it's really good. It's a really good fight for the gamers out there.